take projection.
Welcome back to Take It On Sports, everybody. Hope you're doing well out there. I'm TD. That's Greg. Greg, how you doing, man?
I am good. How are you today, sir?
I'm all right. A little bit of a rough sports weekend for my teams, but
Yeah, I hear you.
it's wild here. What in the hell is going on in the Ravens game? Speaking of that, turn around and the Giants
Yes.
have the ball back inside the red zone.
And
Well, that looks like a loss right there. All right, yeah. So, like I said, rough sports weekend for my teams. Alabama finally loses to Tennessee. The Braves are eliminated. The Ravens are about to lose to the Giants. It's weird, but Arsenal's still top of the league in England, so that's weird. That doesn't feel right to say, but we'll get to our usual. We'll start with college football as we always do. Yesterday was only the second time in college football history that there were three matchups of teams 5-0 or better on the same day. The first was in '93 when you had Florida State, Virginia, Nebraska, Kansas State, and Auburn, Florida. Of course, yesterday we had Penn State, Michigan, Alabama, Tennessee, and Oklahoma State, TCU. We'll start with the tough news. Alabama loses to Tennessee. No cigars last night. Tennessee fans going crazy. Took the goalpost, threw them in the Tennessee River. And I don't know if you've seen this yet. I just saw it about 15 minutes ago. The official Tennessee University account is actually trying to fundraise money to buy a new set of goalposts. That almost makes me feel better about the loss because that's such a trashy move. Even their own fans are like, yeah, no. What are you talking about? We're not doing that. Have the university president or the AD take it out of their salary.
Man, right. Like, isn't that what all this TV money and stuff like that pays for?
That's what I thought. That's such a second-rate move. Man. I hope we see them in Atlanta.
After 15 years, that's how you're going to treat the fan base.
Yeah, right. That's how you reward your fans. Like, have fun, but you got to pay for that.
Yeah.
That is yeah. But on to the game itself. It was just another frustrating game to watch if you're an Alabama fan. 17 penalties, multiple in the Saban era.
I thought I read
maybe ever, right?
Ever. And
it was just
points
horrible.
Given up since like 1908 or something.
Yeah, most points since
God.
Before anybody in our families were born. Just awful drops, the dumb play on the punt return. Your typical.
I still don't know what he was doing on that punt return.
I still haven't figured it out. Even if he thought that it touched one of our guys, why wouldn't he just jump on the ball instead of trying to pick it up?
What do I do? Oh.
Yeah, and that was a big moment. Shoddy officiating went both ways too, but how that hit on Bryce Young wasn't called targeting, I still don't know.
There was two. There were two there. I was like, are they gonna call anything?
Apparently not. That's why I think I tweeted during the game, but I'm over anybody saying Bama gets all the calls is obviously just mad and a hater and doesn't actually watch the games because we do not get all the calls.
We definitely don't.
And that pass interference was shaky at the end. I could see why you call it. Kind of hooked them a little bit, but
kind of late.
That's the problem with it is that Kool-Aid was already 60 yards up the field. Then they dropped the flag,
and then the way they announced it, he was like, on the return, we had blocking the back. That's declined. Oh, we also had pass interference. It's like, why would you? What? Like that's
the way they, like you don't even. Yeah. It was just weird, frustrating.
And then the question that I don't understand, like how the refs was even questioning that fourth down. Like the dude had the stick on third, was like, my stick says 3, and they actually reviewed it. I was like, come on, guys.
That's like when we refereed flag football, they gave us the little elastic thing that you put around your finger. You put it between your first finger for first down, second for third, and then
these are supposed to be the best of the best in college football, and that's what we got.
And you can't count to 4. Yeah, that's
I was like,
really frustrating.
Goodness. Yeah,
really dumb. Some more. As Saban said in his post-game press conference, defense was way too soft on that last drive.
The whole game. That
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't
that
know, understand why they didn't bracket that. What Hyatt that just 6 catches for 5 touchdowns? Just
Jalen just kicked. Yeah, Jalen Hyatt just kicked our ass. I
yeah,
mean, it's like we realize that it's the same thing every time, right? Come on, guys, like switch something. Like, geez,
yeah, just not a great game for Pete Golding. Actually, don't really have a lot of complaints about Bill O'Brien for once, except our last drive. Tell him to quit.
that last drive. Oh my gosh,
I mean, you see, my dog's upset about it too. Um, yeah, he was obviously playing for the field goal, but then he wasn't running the ball and forcing them to use timeouts. And if look, Bill O'Brien probably knows. I accept this as a fan, and he's a coach. He has probably forgotten more about the sport of football than I will ever know.
yeah,
However, someone needs to introduce him to the concept of a screen pass, which is where you invite all that pressure they're bringing you and you give it to Jahmyr Gibbs, the best playmaker on the team by far, and let him do something. I know he had that tough drop, on that last drive too, in that little
he
option
had a lot
route,
of
which he may
green
have
in
been
front of
gone.
him.
Yeah, and like a defensive tackle on him.
Oh my gosh.
So that was rough, but yeah, just again, you're playing for the field goal, but you're throwing 20-yard passes downfield. I just don't
Yeah, it was
understand.
very tough. And it's you just that whole thing. Like, I mean, you have two men, and Nick Saban and Bill O'Brien, like you said, know more football than we'll ever know. Some of the smartest minds in football, whether you like them or not. I mean, they're there for a reason. Where they're in their careers, but yeah, just the not run the ball, make them run their timeouts, and we're kicking. Even if he misses, like he did, we're going to overtime. They don't have any more
Hmm.
time. Like,
Yeah, they don't have time to stop the clock if they get it in the range like that because they were
even
able to call a timeout. They would have had to spike the ball with 2 seconds,
right,
and so
like
that would have,
even my daughter's like, why aren't they running? And she's 14. And I'm like, well,
yeah, it's just a frustrating watch.
oh yeah, it's
It's
very
one thing that
frustrating.
your team gets beat. You can, like last year in the title game, you could just give it to Georgia and be like, look, they just whooped us.
Yeah, the
They
fourth
wanted it
quarter they
more.
just whooped our butt. But yesterday,
But
like,
this game, especially with the comeback, down 18
yeah,
points, Bryce brought them back into the game. We took the lead. We had a chance to
yeah,
expand the
when
lead
we
and
got
just
when we got up 49-42 after the Dallas Turner after that weird fumble there when he ran it in, I thought, well, it was close, but then we finally did what we needed to do to win the
yeah,
game. Got a break there.
you thought that was the moment that Tennessee was, not necessarily buckling. It was a mental mistake on their part,
Right. But
but you just thought, yeah, that's what happens in big games. They're not quite there yet,
yeah.
but they get the W.
Jeez.
Although all these people, you got to hand it to Tennessee. No, in fact, I do not have to hand it to Tennessee, and I refuse to do so. In fact, Rocky Top can still go to hell.
Yeah, most
Uh,
definitely.
but yeah, so that's about probably all we need to say about that game.
Yeah.
Elsewhere in the SEC, Kentucky got a good win over Mississippi State despite losing Will Levis again.
Yeah, he
That's
came
a
back.
good win for them to
He came back at
keep
the
up
end.
in the East. He did come back at
Yeah,
the end.
he came back and led the
Oh,
come
he led. Yeah, I know. And I know they basically just put the ball game on the shoulders of their running back, and he
Rodriguez
just
had a
carried them. Yeah,
big
Rodriguez
day.
is beast.
Big day.
So, good win for them. LSU, a big win in the swamp.
Yeah.
That's a good win for Brian Kelly
Four
in
in a
his first
row.
year.
4 in a row over
Mm-hmm.
Florida. That's a pretty heated rivalry every year game, and the
Mm-hmm.
definitely in a big win for LSU considering what last the beat down they took last week and the bounce back in the swamp. Good win for them.
Mm-hmm. See, Arkansas went into Provo, got a big win, broke their losing streak. KJ Jefferson back with a
Oh
vengeance.
yeah, way different with KJ back for sure.
Oh
Arkansas
yeah, that's
much different
completely
team.
different offense. And let's see, same old story for Auburn. Got a couple stops early and just could not take advantage, and then eventually their defense just got tired, and
Yeah,
the Ole Miss offense wore them out.
yeah, But Auburn did show a little life. When they got down 21-0 at first, I was like, well, they about to get completely run out the building. But I mean, he got ran out the building as far as on the ground with Ole Miss 448 on the ground, 3 100-yard rushes,
Oh
including
yeah,
the quarterback. I mean, Ole Miss's offense is electric.
yeah, and they'll go into Baton
Baton
Rouge
Rouge,
next week.
2:30 CBS
That might
game.
be it. Yeah, it may be a tough game. And see, we'll see where Brian Kelly has the Tigers at, and we'll see what Lane's got.
Yeah,
His Rebels. Other big games next week. State comes to Tuscaloosa.
both
We'll see
teams.
how Alabama
Yeah,
responds,
both teams
especially after getting
respond. Yeah,
torched in the air. Yeah, now you got to face Will Rogers in the that air raid offense.
yeah. But silver lining for that, I mean, yes, they do have the prolific passing offense, and that's definitely been our downfall, especially on that side with Arnold and the safety over there. Hell, they got torched, but he only threw for 206 against Kentucky. I would have to hope and think that we have better defense than Kentucky. So,
Yeah, you would hope, especially you would see the way Saban was mad. He seems like he's going to put his foot up some asses
man,
this week at
it's
practice.
gonna be a long week.
Yeah. Let's see. That's about it. A&M's at USC next,
Yeah,
or South
that's not
Carolina next week. Yeah, it's not really anything worth talking about. One last thing on the SEC, I saw something funny posted on Twitter. I think it was the Reddit college football account.
Mm-hmm.
Mentioned, I hope everybody is ready for an all SEC playoff with SEC champ Bama, runner-up Georgia, Tennessee with their only loss being to Georgia, and Ole Miss with their only loss being to Alabama. That would be
Fantastic.
hilarious, if only because I would laugh at so many people griping and crying about that.
Oh
Of
man,
course, I would take a lot of losses from some
yeah,
people ahead of them,
but
but
a lot of heads would explode.
a lot of heads would explode. All right, moving on. We'll go to the Big 12 next. The big game, one of those unbeaten matchups. TCU, big comeback win
Man,
over Oklahoma State, won in overtime. Big win for the Horned Frogs, now the only unbeaten team in that conference.
man, that was an epic game. 2 overtimes. Of course, it's sad it was on at the same time as our game there, but man, it was
Mm-hmm.
a bits and pieces I did see there. Trying to keep up with it. It was definitely kind of what you expected that game. A lot of points there, back and forth. But yeah, heck of a comeback. I mean, when they got down 24-10, I was like, yikes! And they just kept answering the
Yeah,
bell.
it looked, yeah, like you said, same time's our game, and then I ended up having, I worked a little bit
Mm-hmm.
last night, and so, the score early on, I looked at it, I was like, oh, okay, Oklahoma State might go in and kind of, maybe not stomp them, but kind of win by a couple
All right.
scores, and then I was surprised to see TCU won after the
Yeah.
game. I got to look at the highlights, and yeah, it was a fun game. TCU looking
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
after, kind of a down few
Yeah,
years.
they have a prolific offense. I mean, they're running the ball. The heck of a receiver there in Quentin Johnson. It's lit up Oak State for 180. But yeah, definitely a resurgence there. I mean, Gary Patterson, after that long tenure, I guess things kind of just got stale there, and it was just time to move on. It's often that's just how coaching goes eventually. They really responded well with this season. Got back to what they were for a lot of Gary Patterson's tenure there, and seemed to be really rolling. We'll see how big game. K State coming to town Saturday, so see if they keep it
Yep,
going.
big matchup with K-State. Oklahoma rebounded
Man,
with a shootout win over Kansas yesterday.
that was.
Still no semblance of a defense for the Sooners. But maybe that's just a culture thing. I don't know. Maybe Brent Venables, because he's going to try to turn that team
Right.
into basically the complete opposite of what they had been for the past couple decades. So we'll see how that goes. Texas held on to win against Iowa State. That's a good win for them, after such a big win. West Virginia won a wild game Thursday
that was
night
a wild
over
one.
Baylor. Yeah, it was a fun watch. It was Thursday night shootout games.
Yeah, definitely.
Baylor next week, they'll host Kansas. Texas will go to Oklahoma State next
That'll
week.
be
That'll
a
be a big
big
one.
game. Just see how see how the Cowboys bounce back, and then see Texas on the road there. That's been their what their
Yeah,
losses on the road. So
yeah, that might be somewhat of a kind of a Big 12 title game eliminator right
yeah,
there.
because someone would
You
that be a
know,
second loss in conference for one of
for
the
both
two?
of them, yeah, that'd
So,
be a second loss in conference for both teams. So we'll see there. Let's move away. We'll go to the Big Ten for that last unbeaten matchup, which was not really close at all. Michigan ran all over
did
Penn
they? My
State.
goodness,
That Michigan running game is looking
tough.
devastating this year.
Yeah, definitely a tough. Yeah, what 418 on the ground, and they
I think it
really
was most ever against Penn State,
yeah,
right? Most rushing yards they've ever given up.
and
I thought I saw that.
that
I could
was
be wrong, but yeah,
definitely a big game because going into it, I mean, both teams of course undefeated, but I don't think anybody really knew which either one had because of course Penn State beating Auburn now. I mean, it looked good at the time, but Auburn hasn't been anything as we found out, and Michigan had a soft schedule going in there, so I mean. No, I think we really kind of found out who was the contender compared to the other, and they really. I expected, a lot of the time that's a pretty close back and forth, low scoring game, and quite the opposite there as far as just completely dominating them.
yeah,
Wow, I'm kind of
yeah,
shocked.
yeah, and yeah. Then you said it all right there. Just a dominating performance by the Wolverines. Illinois
Man,
won again. They keep on winning, man. The Illini.
yeah, one loss.
Uh,
Man, that
yeah,
another 472 total yards there. Put up a And that was it's what they're 5-1 now. Phew. Who would have thought?
5-1, 6 and
Six.
one, something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
One loss on the season, and looking tough. Definitely a contender, at least to win the West there with them and Purdue. It looks like
Yeah, right. For the right to get stomped in the title
by
game
Michigan
by
or Ohio
Ohio State
State.
or
Yeah,
Michigan. Yeah.
pretty much.
But yeah, playing like Aurelius Ben's back on the team,
Yeah.
man. Throwback
Mm.
game. That's about it. Next week, couple of mentionable games. Iowa travels to
Yeah,
Columbus to play
they're gonna
Ohio
get housed.
State. Yeah, that all signs point to that, but you never know. Ohio State seems to have one of those like what the hell losses
Yeah.
in them about every season now. So
If Iowa had
probably
any
not coming because Iowa
Yeah,
can't
if
score
Iowa had
points,
any
but
semblance of an offense, just because how good their defense is, like maybe, but the offense is so bad that uh, it would take more than a miracle.
yeah, it would take a lot. And then Penn State will try to rebound with Minnesota coming to town. Minnesota's now lost, but back
Back
to
to
back
back.
games
That was a team that
after a strong
that was
start.
my kind of my sleeper to win, to win the West at least there. And they lost the second one in a row. There wasn't really even that close against the Illini there.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, so that'll be that for the Big Ten. Let's go to the ACC now. Clemson survived Florida State and Tallahassee. Kind of was comfortable, and Florida State made it close toward
Yeah.
the end. But good to see Florida State put up a fight. If you're a fan there, they're not rolling over. They just don't have the talent yet, but they're playing hard.
Playing with a lot of heart. Tough to lose three in a row
Hmm.
like that, but arguably the three best teams is at the time on their schedule, I would say. And you just have to
Hmm.
be that your three in a row, so that's a tough way. But yeah, definitely play with a lot of heart. I mean, those are games the last couple years they're probably getting blowed out in, and they we're never out of contention there. So I mean, yeah, definitely an improvement there. But yeah, still it's tough as the Florida State fan base just because their history, and we'll see if they what they do for the rest of the season. I think they definitely have to beat Miami, have to beat Florida, and I think they'll be happy at that point. But
Hmm. Yeah, Syracuse stays
Hughes,
unbeaten, beat NC State. NC State loses their quarterback Leary for the
that's a
season.
tough
That's a
loss.
big
Yeah.
loss for them. Tough loss, but the
Hughes
Cuse unbeaten,
unbeaten,
and they get a big one next week
going
going to
to
Clemson.
Clemson. Yeah, that's a big game there. But be fun if that was in the dome, just because Syracuse is great in that dome. But I don't know going into Death Valley how that's gonna
Yeah,
go.
that might get a lot of hype, and then it might
But
be a
it's
blowout. But
Coach came in on the hot seat on the season there. A lot of people thought, well, he's out, and he's really turned things around. So good for the Orange there.
yeah, good for them. Only other thing to note: Miami rebounded with a win over Virginia Tech. Talk about a rivalry that's lost its
Yeah, that
luster.
used to be a
Um,
huge Big East matchup.
oh yeah, and then in their early days when they both joined the ACC was
Yeah,
still a
well,
big one, and they've just both of those programs have fallen
oh
off,
man,
and yeah, but just tough, tough times for Virginia Tech. Miami got a good win to get them a little back on track. We'll see how their seasons end. But yeah, we'll move to the Pac-12 now. Utah won a wild one
woohoo!
over USC. Looked at a couple points in that game, especially earlier on, like USC might run away
Yeah,
with it. Utah and Cam Rising fought back, won late. Big decision to go for two in the win,
no, I like it.
and they
I
got
like
it.
it. I like
Yeah, I
that
like it.
decision because it's one of those things you don't have anything to lose. You kind of already you're not, you're out of the national title hunt. You've already lost twice. You lose to USC. It's not a bad loss. You win with that 2-point conversion. You're a hero for the day. So I like it. You might as well.
Yeah, exactly. Why not go? And that puts them back in the
Exactly.
discussion
At
for
least the
the
Pac-12 race.
Pac-12
Yeah.
now. Ends USC's unbeaten season. Yeah. Elsewhere, Colorado got their
They
first
did.
win of the season, beating Cal. So both Colorado programs now off the schneid. Oregon State beat Wazoo and closing up in Corvallis, or not really that close. I think a couple scores ended up being, but that's kind of that second level of
And
Pac-12
then the
contenders.
upset of the day, Stanford beating Notre Dame
And
and
South
South
Bend,
Bend.
yeah.
Yeah, Notre Dame.
Notre Dame's offense is just
They're,
struggling.
they're
Yeah,
definitely
they're
bad. And perfect game to was a tough day for me on bets, but that was a guarantee that no one was going to get the 50. The over under was at 50. That was a guaranteed one.
oh man, that's a high total. Yeah, that seemed like an
Yeah,
easy money
it was
right
easy
there.
money.
Yeah, that's that Notre Dame situation and then the Oklahoma situation makes you question if both Brian Kelly and Lincoln Riley, respectively, kind of saw what was coming down the road and bounced
Bounce
for,
before it was on them, right?
yeah, exactly, bounced before the
Well,
rough times were on them.
but at the same time, with that whole OU, he did kind of take a lot of talent with him. So
That's true. Yeah,
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 but
yeah, that's true. He took
he took the quarterback, and
so
he took a
much with
lot of
him.
people. But yeah, yeah, Brian Kelly, and maybe he saw what was about to take place at Notre Dame. Was like, well, it's run its course.
It's been
It's
real.
been fun. Took you to a couple playoffs, a national title game. I'm out.
Yeah. So maybe just a couple of programs that had been successful over the
Right.
past decade or so in
Yeah. A
transition
little
for the
bit.
next season or
Yeah.
two now. Just to finish your thoughts on the Pac-12, though, the big matchup next week, game day going to
It's
Eugene
huge.
for unbeaten UCLA at Oregon. That
It's a
is,
huge game.
it could be a Pac-12 title game preview. They don't do divisions there. So we'll
Yeah.
see. UCLA trying to stay unbeaten, Oregon trying to stay unbeaten in conference and keep their hot streak going after that season opening loss to Georgia. That should be
Yeah,
fun.
definitely. You would think should be a lot of scoring, a lot of points. But I think the biggest thing out of this is just to see UCLA has only had one road game, and that was at Colorado. And as bad as Colorado has been, and not a very intimidating place to go into right now, they're in Boulder. So this is really their first true test on the road there. So that'll be interesting to see what they do.
Yeah, Yeah, for sure. Alton Stadium is a different environment, probably the toughest place. Actually, probably not even an argument, the toughest place to play
Oh, in the
in
Pac-12,
that
easily, yeah.
conference. Easily, yeah. Let's see. Outside the big conferences, both James Madison and Coastal Carolina suffered
Yeah,
their first loss of the season, which means no unbeaten
we were
Cinderellas this
just
year.
talking about poor James Madison last week, and maybe we cursed him.
Yep.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we did a bit of cursing. We'll get to the baseball real quick in a little bit too. Yeah. Well, of course, we predicted that
Yeah,
curse
we were
at
like,
least to
well,
give us
the
credit on
exact
that.
opposite is going to happen, kind of jokingly, and maybe we were right on the money.
Yeah. Yeah. So, we get like
Yeah.
half credit for that. All right, let's move real quick to our power rankings for the NCAA. I'll kick us off. I'm giving Syracuse some love. I'll put them in my number 10 spot. They probably will be a short-lived stay, but with Clemson next week. But hey, give Dino Babbers and the Orange some
Yes, sir.
props. How about you?
Yeah, I actually did the same thing there with both UCLA and Oregon off last week. I thought, might as well give them a shot while they're there. So, yep, same thing. Cuse at 10.
All right, how about
Number
your number
9,
9?
I had the Bruins at 9. They're undefeated. Didn't play yesterday, but we pretty much said everything we need to say about that matchup coming up. Kind of really tell us more about the Bruins. Been great so far, but 9 is the Bruins for me.
I had the exact same thing. Yeah, what you said. We'll see more about them next week, but all props to them for being unbeaten so far. Number 8, I had the Rebels of Ole Miss. Good win yesterday, but they really just their schedule's still been kind of light overall. So yeah, I stuck them down there in the 8th spot. How about you?
8th spot, I have TCU moving into my top 10 there. Three three solid wins in a row there. And they're just rolling right now. That offense is prolific, putting up numbers. Quietly, of course, not a lot of national love right now, but they're quietly having a great season.
For sure. All right, let's see. I had TCU in my number 7 spot. Yeah, like I said, tough. They're winning. They're handling their business. For now,
Yes,
we'll see
sir.
how they finish out. Who do you have number
Number
7?
7, I was tough. I dropped Alabama to 7, just because in my mind, we've had worse losses as far as team name, but in my mind, that was the worst loss to me in the Saban era, just because of the penalties, no changes on the defense at all. Like I don't know. It's just there was just so many mistakes and so many things that I thought, man, it just lived up to just the worst. In my mind, one of the worst performances as a team under Saban there, with as much talent is there right now. But I dropped us to 7.
All right. I dropped us down to number 6. Yeah, again, echoing what you said, it was a bad loss. It was a frustrating loss because we had chances to win. We hurt ourselves, and you always hate that more than just going out playing your best and getting beat. This isn't Deshaun Watson leading a game-winning drive against you. This is a team that hasn't been in this spotlight in like nearly 2 decades. Against a program that's been doing it for the last 15 years, every week in and week out, and it's just dumb. And again, I will say this every week, but if I will help donate to a fund to help Bill O'Brien move. Just whatever, NFL, college, his kids, Pop Warner team. I
Somebody
don't
has
care.
to
Just
want him. I mean, obviously he's already produced a Heisman Trophy winner. I mean, look what he's doing with Jameer Gibbs. Like, obviously he's a genius. Somebody take him on to Tuscaloosa. You'll love him.
yeah, and you could defend him by pointing to that
Yeah.
Heisman with Bryce and all that, but some of that stuff you feel is just the pure
Yeah,
talent
I
of
mean, I think
the players
he
winning
gets
out,
saved a
and
lot by the amount of talent that he has around him there. If he's in that situation with like probably our most prolific offensive coordinator and Lane Kiffin with the Blake Sims like quarterback. Yeah, no. So just kind of
Yeah, it's yeah, exactly. You just watching the games, it's frustrating. You could see that, like I said, he doesn't call screens, and then it seems the only time we do beat the blitz is when Bryce recognizes it, calls
yeah.
a hot route, hits a guy on the slant or something. So, but all right, that was my number 6. Who you got at number
Number
6?
6, I have Ole Miss at 6. Sitting undefeated, top of the West for now. Another big win yesterday. They're really running the ball well, playing good football. So, got them at 6.
All right, how about your number
5, I
5?
have Clemson at 5 there. They're humming along, playing good ball. Probably, I would say, unless something crazy happens, going undefeated in the ACC. So I can almost say, can almost lock them into a playoff spot. But that's what the week by week is
Yeah,
for. So we'll see.
I had Michigan at number 5. Um, yeah, again, they're just rolling over teams with their run game. Um, haven't really played much of anybody. We don't really know how good Penn State is exactly, but you got to give them
For
credit
sure.
where credit's due. Michigan is
For
doing their
sure.
thing. Number 4 is where I had Clemson. Yeah, exactly what you said. They're humming along. They're probably going to go unbeaten, win the ACC, and get back in the playoff after a down year last year. Who's your number 4?
4, got the Volunteers. Whole Rocky Top sitting at 4. They've been waiting there, most of these people's half their lives for this, and finally did what they had to do. Been saving cigars for 15 years, and finally got the smoke one. Man, Hendon Hooker lit us up. Hyatt lit us up, and they're sitting there controlling their own destiny to get to Atlanta right now. So, got to give it to them for what it's worth.
Yep, I had them in my number 3 spot. Uh, yeah, echoing your sentiments. They're winning their games. That's all you can ask for them. They'll get Georgia in a few weeks here, so we'll see how that goes. And they put themselves in
Yeah,
position to win the East
for
now,
sure.
getting to the SEC title game for the first time since
Yeah, I
07
think they.
maybe. I
Yeah,
don't.
I think they played LSU when LSU won that.
Yeah, that
Yeah, when the
crazy '07
LSU won the
season.
title with
Yeah.
2 losses. But yeah, yeah.
So yeah, who is
3, I
your number
have
3?
Michigan. It was their first real test of the season, and they passed with an A+. I mean, they completely dominated Penn State after that first half, and took it to them there. Woodshed. So that's looking like, at the end of the season, I'm expecting Ohio State and Michigan to be undefeated going for that East Championship.
All right. How about your
2,
number 2?
they were off, but, can't knock them for being off. I had the Buckeyes at 2.
I had Uga at 2 and the Buckeyes at number 1, which probably means you had Uga
Okay,
at number
number
1.
1.
Yeah. Not much to say for them. Big blowout win over Vanderbilt. Did what they should do. They'll get Florida in a couple weeks and then
Yep.
Tennessee in a few. Do it for our NCAA talk for the day. We'll go real quick to our NFL power rankings. Recap. Not really much to talk about last week except that NFL's got to do something about that roughing the passer rule because that was a joke. What happened to the Falcons, man? And they got hosed. And the only other thing I will say, as we remind our listeners, we do these in advance, do not take into account today's game. So I know my rankings are going to look all messed up, at least here at the back end of it, at the very least. I started number 8. I had the Giants. They opened up well, and then they won a big game today against Baltimore at home. So who's your
Number
number
8,
8?
I have the Niners at 8. A lot of injuries there, so that's gonna hurt them long term, I think. But they've been before they lost to the Falcons today, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, they were coming into today. I mean, they look good. Blew out the Rams, blew out the Panthers, despite all the injuries. They were looking like a coming around. Good team after that Denver loss. So, but they're my 8.
Yep. How
7,
about your
I
number
had
7?
the Giants there. Put them there after their big comeback win last week in London against the Packers, and pulled off another one today. It looks like so. They're playing good football.
Yep, I had. They are. They are playing Danny Dimes and Saquon. Brian
They
Dayball's got them playing
definitely,
hard.
yeah.
I had the Niners at number 7, but then, of course, all the problems you talked about, their injuries, and lost today against the Falcons. Might be a little rough for
Yeah.
them in the next few weeks. Number 6, I had the Ravens, and their aforementioned problems. That defense can just not hold a lead.
Yeah.
It's a problem now, and one they need to address. And also on the offense. The offense goes cold in the
Yeah,
second
that's
half. It's
I bet.
frustrating as a fan to
Yeah.
watch. And Kenyon
He
Drake, that
had
was
a
big news
huge
today.
day.
He had
Yeah, he
over
had a
100
big
yards
day.
rushing. Couple
It's
big
good to
runs
see because
too.
it's
Yeah.
kind of he was considered kind of a wash running back, really out of it. Good to see him doing it.
Yeah, I think he had a total of like 39 rushing yards
Yeah.
in the first 5 games, and he didn't even dress for the last couple. And then today just went off. But no one else can really do anything for the Ravens. Lamar threw a bad pick late. Not sure how they gave the ball back so quickly. I didn't see that. I have to go back. But yeah, tough looking. So I'm not sure they'll be in my rankings next week. Who's your
Yeah,
number
I have the
6?
Cowboys at 6. Another big win last
Okay.
week against the Rams. Defense spectacular. Can't ask for much else. Offense, nothing flashy, but didn't make mistakes. And Cooper Rush doing his thing again. Big matchup tonight against the Eagles in Philly.
Huge matchup tonight. Yeah. We'll move to number 5. I had the Vikings. They're just looking good. They're humming along. They haven't really played too tough of a schedule. They got the win over
Yeah.
the Dolphins today. Down in Miami. Of course, that's with, Skylar
Good old
Thompson
Scott.
starting and then giving way to Teddy Bridgewater. So, yeah. How
5, I
about your
had the
number
Ravens
5?
at 5 there. Got the weird win last week against the Bengals there, but it was kind of an ugly game. But they were able to pull that off there, and then this week happened. But did this Thursday or so. So 4,
Yeah. How
I
about
had
your
the
number 4?
Vikings at the 4th spot. They're I guess one of the pretty prolific offense there. Got the even the win today there. Kirk Cousins having a solid couple of weeks recently, and plethora of receivers. Dalvin Cook running the ball well, and they're winning games right now.
Uh-huh. Number 4, I had your Cowboys. That defense is just playing out of its mind, and they're doing this with a backup quarterback and not a lot of production from Zeke Elliott. So, that's if they could get, Dak back healthy and then,
Mm-hmm.
get Zeke to even like half of what he used to be a few years ago, that's they might make some noise in the NFC there. Number 3, the Chiefs. They're
Right.
doing their thing, and they playing that big game against the Bills right now, which is currently scoreless.
Yep, I
What's your
have
number
the
3?
same. I have the Chiefs at 3 there. I had to pull the comeback against the Raiders last week, but that was another game with the questionable roughing the passer call in that one. Ugly one there,
Uh-huh.
but I pulled out the rivalry game there, and playing the Bills right now, and kind of own the Bills of late, as we know, 13 seconds, and we'll see how this game plays out. But yeah, scoreless so far, kind of shocking considering how prolific the offenses are, but should be a good one today. 2, I
Who's your
have
2?
Buffalo at 2 there. Last week against the
Okay.
Steelers. Anytime a team comes down to the 14-point dog in an NFL game, it's ugly. And it exactly was that. And they're just doing what they need to do. The bad thing for them, still a lot of injuries there, especially on the defense. So we'll see if that
Uh-huh.
catches up to them at some point, but they're still humming along.
Yep, I believe we had the same top three things. I also have the Bills
Yeah.
at 2 and the Eagles at 1. I still think the Bills probably. Kansas City just score there.
Yep.
Yep. Flag on the play. We'll see what that is. But I still think maybe the Bills, when they're healthy, might be the Super Bowl favorites. Think it would definitely depend on who got
Yeah.
home field advantage in the
Yeah,
AFC.
because imagine going
And then,
Buffalo in late January with that crowd. Could be I wouldn't want to go there
oh
at
man,
all.
crazy cold game. Yeah, no. And then the Eagles, they're still unbeaten. Of course, we mentioned that big test tonight against the Cowboys. It is in Philly. So we'll see how Jalen Hurts and the
Yeah,
boys.
yeah,
Should
definitely. I
be a
mean, they
fun game tonight.
kind of got lucky there last week. There with the Arizona there, missed the kick there. But they got out to the early lead, held on. But yeah, big matchup, the NFC East, long term rival there. So Sunday night prime time, can't ask for much more than that.
No, and that is it. Should be. Oh, and then
Incomplete. Yeah,
nope, incomplete. Thought Kelsey had another
yeah.
touchdown there. His
Four.
huge game
That's
last
funny though.
week in
Four
that Raiders
touchdowns, only
game too.
28 yards
Just
receiving.
that's insane. Just of course, I'm
And
sure if you
I
have
had
him
him
on
at
your
one.
fantasy team,
The
everybody
funny
was
thing, the
happy with
dude I was
that.
playing is a work league.
Did
The
you?
dude I was
Nice.
playing, I was already up by like 30, and so that just added on.
No, that's
Yeah.
just salt in the wound right there. All right, we're going to go. NBA season starting up this week. So we're going to do a quick little NBA preview for y'all. We're going to play a little game. Contender, playoff, play-in, or lottery. So we'll name a team. Greg and I will both say which one of those categories they think in. By contender, of course, we mean they can win it all. Playoff, we think they're basically a lock to make the playoffs. Play-in, a team that, could be down toward that 8 seed or maybe a up-and-coming team, kind of like the Pelicans last year, that might fight their way in. And then lottery is a team that we think has no shot of making the playoffs whatsoever, and they're just playing for Victor Wembanyama. Greg, I'll let you start. We'll start with our teams here. Well, in the Southwest Division, you're a Dallas Mavs fan. So what category do you think they're in, and
I would
got
definitely
anything to
say
say about them?
playoff team there. Of course, have Luca, and he's everything for the team there. I think we outdid ourselves last year. Making the Western Conference Finals wasn't expected. I think we're a little ahead of there, but got a couple of changes there. Of course, we lost. Um, can't even think of his name right now to the Knicks. Yeah, Brunson to the Knicks.
Brunson?
I mean, he kind of saved us there that Utah series when Luka was hurt. So will be a big replacement there for our team there. But adding Christian Wood from the Rockets, I think that'll be big for us. And if Hardaway is healthy, I think that definitely somewhere in that 5. Well, 5 through 8 range as far as in the playoffs, sir. So
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think playoff is what I put them into. They're just looking for that kind of
yeah,
second fiddle to Luca to really
for sure.
bring them to that next level. They thought they might have had it with,
Yeah, that
Porzingis, and he didn't
was
pan out. Yeah, it's tough, yeah. So we'll see, but as long as Luca's healthy, that team they're capable
right.
of beating anybody on any night. It's just a matter of can they
Yeah.
beat
Yeah, that's the
somebody in
thing. Beating
a
Golden
7
State
game
in
series.
7
That's
is not something we're built to
Mhm.
do right now. But
But
yeah,
that's always been the kind of the Mavs MO.
exactly.
That's what they did when they won the title with
That's why
Dirk. It's
right.
Dirk
That's
and
why I play the
the other
game. I
guys,
guess
and but
figure it all out.
mhm. and of course I like to remind people Dallas should have 2 NBA titles because that '06 series was a
Yeah,
joke with the
definitely should
refereeing.
have to.
As much as I like Dwayne Wade, no, that
Horrible,
was
horrible.
horrible. The officiating from that
Yeah,
series is some of the worst ever. We'll stay in the Southwest. I'll speak on my team, the Pelicans. Of course, a lot of hype coming around them with the return of Zion. A
yeah, I
little
saw
worry. He
that.
rolled his ankle in the preseason game the other night, but they said that was it. Just, your
Yeah,
typical basketball player role. So we'll see. But yeah, man, the team that started out so bad last year kind of fought hard, made that big CJ McCollum trade, had the emergence of super defender Herb Jones. Brandon Ingram finally broke out into superstar status, kind of showed everybody how talented of a scorer he really is. Gave the Suns
Yeah,
more than they wanted in that first round series. I went to one of those games. I think it was a loss for the Pels, but it's still fun. It's one of the myths, just the misconceptions and basketball media is that New Orleans just won't support them, and that's just not true. It's a football town for sure. It's kind of like Tuscaloosa, though. Like, it's a football town. Football's always going to be number one, but you put a winning
people gonna
product
show up.
in the
Yeah,
basketball court, and fans will fill the arena. Yeah. And Coach Willie Green, that seems to be a great hire for them. He's got them playing, and so if they can get, you got CJ, Zion, Herb, Brandon Ingram, Jonas at the big man, and you got guys like Trey Murphy coming off the bench who his 3-point shooting is out of this world. If he can improve that a little bit and even round his game out, they just got Jose Alvarado, just the most annoying player for opposing teams, I'm sure. That's just
yeah,
there's a lot of talent on that team. Dyson Daniels, a good top 10 pick they got from the Lakers. Everyone blasted Griffin for that trade, and look how that's working out. He's getting all these, and it's possible that Lakers
right.
trade still gives them even better, picks in the next couple years. But I put them in the playoffs. I think, of course, if Zion healthy, if he probably won't put up the same numbers he did in that point Zion season because the offense will just have to, you'll have to give your
Right.
touches
Yeah.
to Ingram as well and McCollum. But add in that guy with if you look at his stats from that season, even when he wasn't, playing the point necessarily, just his inside scoring was at a level that we haven't seen since
Yeah.
prime Shaq. And if you can get a guy that down on the inside to add to the other scorers on that team, their weakness is they don't really have a lot of deadly shooters from outside, but they're good enough. And if guys like Herb Jones can improve their shooting and become true 3-and-D guys, I
For
think this
sure.
is a team that
Yeah.
can make some
I
noise.
would agree with you there. Definitely a
So,
playoff team there. You just hope Zion can stay healthy and get him as close to a full season as possible, and actually get to see him in in the playoffs as a healthy participant. I mean, they're definitely a fun team to watch, and they're actually a very very talented team if they are all healthy. I mean, watch out. I mean, they could definitely make some noise during the playoffs.
all right, we'll stay in Southwest. How about the
Yeah,
Grizzlies? What do you
Grizzlies
got there?
definitely no, I would almost say a contender. I mean,
Oh.
there's argument that they might have given the Warriors everything they wanted if Ja had been healthy last year, but they have a
Mm-hmm.
very young, talented team there. As we saw there, I mean, Bain, Brooks, Jackson are all great people to go along with. One of the most exciting players in the league, and John Morant there, and I mean they're, I think, very much a contender in the West there. Outside the Warriors, they might be one of the
All right.
top teams. But
All right. Yeah, they're a tough team to kind of put one place. I put them in playoff. Just I think maybe I don't know if they're another player away or just one more season of development away. But they're also a team that if they made
yeah,
the finals, it
for
wouldn't
sure.
surprise me at all. When like you said, Ja's one of the most electric players in the league.
Oh,
And it's
definitely.
just they're a fun team to watch. Staying in the Southwest, let's see, Houston. That's pretty quick for me. Lottery,
Yeah,
not
lottery.
even.
They're getting
Yeah,
a lot of young
not much
talent
to say
there,
there.
but yeah, definitely lottery for now.
Well, yeah, and they're going to keep getting young talent. And then Spurs, same thing for me.
Yeah,
Lottery.
lottery possibly playing, but yeah, more likely lottery, which is a good thing. As a Mavs fan, to hear a
Yeah,
lottery for the Rockets and the Spurs, fantastic.
I know, right? And probably
Yeah,
a weird thing if you're a Spurs fan,
yeah, they're
because
kind
so
of
many years of
yeah,
picking in the
they're kind of in
high
that
20s.
rebuild mode there. All those guys I hated for 2 decades are gone. So,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, probably. Yeah, especially for like a Mavs fan like you, just seeing the Spurs down in the dumps for at least a few seasons, at least until they tank and
yeah,
get Victor
we'll
Wembanyama, and
we'll say
then
that for another day.
that he's yeah 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 yeah. We'll talk about that when we get there. All right, let's move to the Northwest. Let's see. We'll start with
I
Denver,
would
the
definitely
Nuggets.
say
Where do you got
playoff
them at?
team. I have
All
a
right.
two time in a row MVP there. We know how good he is. It's just a matter of can the rest of the team stay healthy. That's been their thing. But I don't think that they have enough to actually win the West. But I mean, they're definitely going to be a team that'll make the playoffs for sure.
All right. I actually do have them in my contender category because of the MVP, the Joker. And like you said, though, it is a lot dependent on the team around him staying healthy
Right.
and just giving him just enough help because he, a lot like Luca, is just a guy
Yeah.
that as long as he's healthy and
Yeah.
playing to his fullest
Yeah.
ability,
But
that's
if
going to
Jamal
put that
Murray, if
team.
he's healthy, I mean, 2 years ago he had a epic playoff run. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, Minnesota, the T Wolves, their big offseason acquisition of Rudy Gobert. I got them playoff team. I'm not sure if Cat is Carl Anthony Towns is really as transcendent of a talent
Yeah.
as we kind of first thought when he came in the league. If that combination, uh, him, D'Angelo, you got
They're
Anthony
fun.
Edwards. They're
Yeah.
certainly a fun, exciting team to watch. I'm just not sure if they're a
Yeah, I
contender.
definitely
So
say
playoff team for me. How
playoffs.
about you?
Yeah, a lot of talent there. They definitely sold the farm for Rudy Gobert. But I guess
Mm-hmm.
if you think that that's what's going to take you to the next level, I don't see it. But if that's what your front office thinks or believes, that's going to take you guys from playoff to championship contender. By all means, to go for it. We'll see how it goes out. But yeah, but definitely a playoff team at least.
Yeah, I'm like, you got to take that shot. All right, let's go Thunder. I actually have them playing. I think there's so much young talent there, and they kind of
Hmm.
sat SGA for a while last year, kind of getting back in that lottery. But at some point, that team just fought. They play hard, they fight hard, and I tend to think that
Yeah.
unless they do something like trade SGA this year, which there've been a little bit of rumors about, I think that those guys
Yeah.
they don't want to tank. They want to play hard and
Right.
try to fight, kind of like the Pelicans last year, and get in that playoff and
Yeah,
get some
they're a
momentum
scrappy
going.
team.
How about
Yeah,
you?
they always fight hard. Yeah, I definitely have them in that play in area.
All right. How about the
Lottery.
Blazers? Hmm. I agree. A lot of people talk about them and playing, but I'm just their moves. I just haven't really not impressed by it, and I think Dame
Yeah,
needs some help, and I don't think he's
he
got it there, and I don't know if they'll
yeah
actually
he
pull the
took that
trigger and ever
he took
trade
that
him.
yeah
We'll
he took that
maybe
big
have to see how
money.
that season starts.
So I kind of he kind of took
Hmm.
the money over the chance for a championship with that, but can't blame him for that because you can guarantee the money, can't always guarantee the championship. But he's definitely a fun player to watch. But yeah, I think that time of them being kind of a 4 or 5 playoff team that could cause problems there is kind of over with there in Portland. So yeah, definitely lottery for myself.
All right, and then the Jazz. I'm going to
Oh
assume
yeah,
both of us have
yeah.
them in the lottery
Kind
section.
of blew up
Yeah,
blew up the team there. It didn't work out there after Dallas put them out last year, and kind of in that rebuild mode. A lot of lottery, lot of picks coming up. A lot of young talent there. So we'll see how it plays out. Lottery for now.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, lottery for now. might be just as a Bama fan fun to see Colin
Oh, he'll
Sexton
get a
kind of
lot
get a
of,
lot of points because he'll
yeah,
be
definitely have a lot of chances to
primary
score.
scorer on that team. Yeah. And we'll see. He did sign the contract, but we'll see. He's
Yeah,
still, a candidate. They could still trade
exactly.
him somewhere down the line. All right, we'll move to the Pacific. Warriors contender, obviously. Even if they're punching
Yeah,
each other in
definitely
practice.
contender, and just. But the thing that I saw this past week, they just signed everybody to $100 million contract. And they signed two more $100 million contracts. Like, dang, how much? I want to know how much the Warriors are over the cap right now because it's crazy. This numbers they've thrown to people in the last week there.
Yeah, they're definitely anticipating that
Yeah,
salary cap bump that's
because
coming in 2 years. But yeah, they
yeah,
got a lot of exciting young guys too. It's a weird kind of transitional phase for them after
yeah,
this
kind of,
season. We'll kind of see where that Steph, Clay,
yeah.
Draymond
Have to
core,
think,
if it starts to
have to
give way
think if
more to
anybody's gonna go,
Poole
it's
and
gonna be Draymond. He's kind of the outlier, but at the same time, he's kind of the glue
mhm.
that keeps everything together. And annoying as he is, like it's the guy you want on your team if you can have him. So
Exactly. Yeah, those are the guys that are really important to their teams. All right, Clippers. I'm gonna let you
Clippers,
start this one.
really, as we know, it all depends on their health. They're on paper, they're very, very talented. We know how good Kawhi is. We know how good Paul George is. Of course, they had a John Wall, but those are three of the most unhealthy guys ever in the league. So you want to say contender. I'm gonna say playoff for now, just because I don't know what their health looks like. But I would say playoffs for now.
Yeah, same for me for the exact same reason. And you just, if this is
Yeah.
2017, that
Oh,
core
for
is
sure.
absolutely a NBA title favorite. But 2022,
Yeah.
John Wall hasn't played in about 2 years, it seems like. So we'll see.
Yeah.
If they're healthy, that's a fun team to watch. But we
Exactly.
haven't seen Kawhi in a while either. So move across town to the Lakers.
Yeah.
Such a tough team to kind of judge now with it. And they really didn't do anything in the offseason to make me excited. I don't know. I want to put him in play in, but with LeBron, you kind of say like he's going to drag in the playoffs. But I'm gonna say play in because I don't
Yeah.
know. LeBron's getting up there and he still got it. On any given night, but can he do it? For what
Right.
60 games in the regular season and then playoffs? Because get his rest.
Circle last.
Anthony Davis can't stay healthy. Russell Westbrook is just not a fit there.
Well,
Yes.
I
How
have
about
them
you?
as the playoff. I have them in like in the well. I guess technically will be in the play in because I got them in that kind of 8 spot. So I guess they would be playing at least one game. So guess that would be a play in. But yeah, as you said, they on paper the tons of talent. I mean, of course, Braun. We know what Braun brings, but he's getting up there. And how many games does he play? Can he continue to stay healthy? Uh, Same with AD. AD, Mr. Glass. You don't know what he's going to give you there. Yeah, Russ just doesn't fit at all, but he's still talented. Added Pat Beverly, so I mean that little defense there. That'd be interesting how him and how Russ work together because we know that they've had some epic battles and words in the past there. So, but it'll be must see TV. Of course, we'll probably see Lakers 60 of their 82 games on TV. But
Yeah, we'll see them a lot. Got the Suns. Tough team. I got them a contender just because they're still so talented and they really didn't change their core much. But
yeah,
it's a different story once they get in the playoffs these past few
I have
years.
them as a
How about
playoff
you?
team. Just a lot at the end of last season. Just the way that the Mavs, they kind of, were expected to give the Warriors a run. A lot of people thought that was going to be the Western Conference Finals. The Mavs put them out there. The issues there with Aiton and the coaching staffs, and they at the game 7, and he actually he signed that deal with the Pacers, and they matched it. So it'll be interesting to see, if they're gonna try to move him at the before the trade deadline. What that brings, and then the issues with the whole owner thing, how that affects the team. But still a playoff team. Chris Paul, Devin Booker. I mean, they're talented team, but yeah, I don't think that they. I think that window for a championship is kind of past. I think that was 2 years ago when they made the finals, and last year, and I think that's kind of over with. But there's still a talented team that'll make the playoffs.
Yeah, that Aiton
Yeah,
situation is just kind of weird. All
definitely
right, how about
lottery.
the Kings? Where do you got them? Easy, no money. Yeah, I think they could be better than expected, maybe, but nah, I got them in lottery.
Yeah.
Same thing. They just don't have the talent quite yet. All right, let's move to the Eastern Conference. We'll start in the Southeast, I guess. We'll go the Hawks. It's a tough team for me. I'm trying to think. Everybody in that East, I will say playoffs for the Hawks. I like that trade they made this offseason to get
Oh yeah,
I'm blanking on his name now,
from
the
the
other Murray
Spurs.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, from San Antonio. It's a weird, basketball fit, but another guard next to Trae Young. But I think it's
Yeah,
enough, yeah, to
definitely.
make
I'd
them a
say a
playoff
playoff
team. How
team there.
about you?
Trey Young. We know he puts up buckets. Yeah, but Murray adding him, that's a big pickup. They got Capella, Hunter. I mean, they're a fun team to watch there, and yeah, but definitely I would say a playoff team.
All right, yeah, I'll move on to the Hornets. I got them lottery team. I just don't
Um,
think they really have enough
yeah,
talent there. And then I don't know if LaMelo, he seems to be kind of
yeah.
getting one of these guys that may be getting
I
hurt a
have
little
them
too
in the
much. But what about you?
our play-in situation. LaMelo, I think he can get them there. Could easily be a lottery team as well, but I think definitely myself. I think if LaMelo is healthy and they can stay healthy, then I'll play in. Heat
All right. How about the
definitely.
Heat?
I'm gonna say playoff team. They
Okay. I'm gonna put them myself. I think I'll give them a contender status just because
yeah,
once they
Jimmy
get into the
buckets.
playoffs, man, Jimmy Butler
Yeah,
just is a different
definitely
playoff.
Jimmy
Jimmy is
buckets
a
is
beast.
when he turns it
Um,
on. Yeah, he's definitely. But I think the thing that had me not make it a contender, sometimes he has an epic game and then the next game he doesn't show up. If he turned on that mode every game, yeah, definitely
yeah.
contender. But yeah,
All right. The
lottery.
Magic, I got them lottery. How about you? Yeah, pretty easy.
Yeah,
They'll just keep adding those young guys, and hopefully it'll click at some point. And then the Wizards,
lottery. Yeah,
lottery for me, maybe. Yeah, that's pretty easy here. All right, let's move. That's it for the Southeast. We'll move to the Atlantic. The Celtics, weird case for me because they finished last season so strong.
yeah.
And then all that off-season drama, I'm going to bump them down to playoffs just because I just don't know how to
I
respond
still
to all
have them
that. How
as a
about you?
contender. I mean, there's still about the nucleus of the team back there. Any other team, I think they beat in the NBA Finals beside who they played. And I don't think eBay was touching the Warriors last year. So,
Hmm.
but I still, yeah, despite the coaching stuff, I'd have to think that whoever their coach, I can't think of his name right now, but I mean, it's the same coaching staff. It's not like if they changed, philosophies or anything like that. I'm sure a lot of stuff will be the same. They did bring in Malcolm Brogdon. I think that was a big pickup for them. Been a tough off season for them, but I think that they're still a
Mm-hmm.
contender there in the East. Yeah.
Contender. All right.
The
What about the
Nets,
Nets?
I'm gonna say playoff team. They're still they're there's still a mess there. I don't think anybody wants to be there, but at the same time, they had nowhere else to go. That the Nets are going to pull that trade because KD is still KD, one of the most prolific players in the league, like him or not. I mean, when he's on, and so you would have to think. I mean, if when they're on, I mean, KD, Kyrie, if Ben Simmons, I mean, they have the talent. It's just a matter of do they want to do they put it all together at any point there, but it's good enough to make the playoffs.
Yeah, same thing with me. On the court, obviously, so much talent. But off the court, such a mess. You never know what they're going to get. They're going to get a full season from Kyrie, we think, until he decides he doesn't want to play basketball again. Something weird, like dude's a head case. But yeah, just so on paper, just so talented, and so we'll see. We'll actually
Right.
get to see Ben Simmons play with him, see how he fits into that team. So yeah, we'll move on. Stay in New York. The Knicks, I got them play-in team, even with the addition of Brunson. Just kind of another thing. They got some talent,
Yeah.
but does Julius Randle really want to be
Yeah,
there?
I would say that play-in
Yeah. How
type,
about you?
just because they added Brunson, but Brunson, I mean, he's a good player, but he's kind of a number two. I don't see him really as the true number one, and now he is kind of their number one after they, didn't work out with Donovan Mitchell there. So, yeah. But
All right. Move on to the Sixers.
Sixers,
Where do you got them?
I have them as a contender, just because Embiid, we know how good he is. And I would have to say this season with Harden is going to be much better than last season there. And we know his struggles in the playoffs is well documented, but I still think that they're very much a contender there.
I agree. Yeah, just anytime, especially you get a healthy Embiid and then Harden for a full season, should be
Mm-hmm.
good enough to get them a
Right.
top seed. One of the top three seeds in the East at least, and go from there. The Raptors, I got them as a let's see, play. I'm trying to do my math up here, but I got them. I guess playoff team.
Okay. I have them in that playing
How about
game.
you?
I kind of in that 7-8
Play-in
range.
team.
So you think of them as a playoff team, but I guess that's technically a play-in team. So
Oh, yeah. All right, it does it. We'll move to the Central. The Bulls.
yeah,
I got them as a play-in team. Got Lonzo got hurt. So they lost him. But they still got some talent. Just kind of I don't know.
right.
They're on that press, but
Yeah,
they would
definitely
get
have
in
them in
as
the
like the 10 seed to
same,
me.
but the play-in there. That last season they had all those injuries. They were definitely a playoff team last year, but those injuries caught up to them there. Lonzo Ball, no telling how long if he's going to play at all this year. He's has knee problems. But yeah, they have talents. You played the Bulls, but yeah, I don't think that they'll be in that play-in situation. It's anywhere from 7 to 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Move on to Cleveland. I got them firmly in the playoff position. Their big move to get Donovan Mitchell. I think that's should solidify them. Just don't know if they still got enough
Right.
talent for
Yep,
to
definitely
get over the
same
big boys in the
playoff
East.
team there. I see them anywhere from like the 4 to 6 type of team there. A big move to bring in Donovan Mitchell. Obviously, they feel that that's going to be their difference. A lot of young talent in Cleveland there, but yeah, there's a couple of teams that are just a little bit better, but they'll definitely be fun to watch there.
All right, move to the Pistons. I got them in my play-in. Not necessarily that I think they're guaranteed to make it or anything, but just I like their young talent there. I like what they're kind of building there, and I think they could
Yep,
compete for that
same
sneak
here.
in.
Yeah, definitely a play in opportunity there. I mean, I like the young nucleus there. I like what CK Cunningham in his second year. See when as he continues to gain experience and get better there. So yeah, definitely a play in opportunity for the Pistons there.
All right, and what say you
Pacers,
about the
I think they're a
Pacers?
lottery.
Yeah, I tend to agree.
Yeah,
If they had
that
maybe
could have
gotten
changed some things,
Aiton,
but
that
I
maybe
mean,
could have
didn't get Aiden. They lost Malcolm
changed there,
Brogdon.
but
Um, yeah,
traded away Sabonis last year.
yeah,
Miles Turner is in every trade rumor all the time. So yeah, I don't really see them, which leaves us with the Bucks. Of course, I got them as a contender because anytime you
yeah,
got Giannis
definitely
on your team, that
same for
makes
me.
you a contender.
Giannis top three in the league. I would say honestly. I mean, you know what he does every night, and honestly, last year if Chris Middleton doesn't get hurt, I thought that they would win the East there. So if he's healthy and they still have, yeah, they have quite the basically the core of that championship team is there. So they're definitely a contender.
Yeah, healthy Chris Middleton is huge for them.
Yeah,
Like you
how
said, they
many
still got
Bobby
guys like Drew
Portis is
Holiday
still there.
locking down on defense. Yeah, so it's still a talented team, and like we said, Giannis and a healthy Middleton make them contenders. So, all right, we'll wrap this up. Keep in mind, I'll go over this. This wasn't an exact science for us. We just kind of threw these teams in categories. So if the numbers don't seem right, that's fine. But for contenders, I have the Nuggets, Warriors, Suns, Heat, Sixers, and Bucks. Greg has the Grizzlies, Warriors, Celtics, Sixers, and Bucks. Playoff category, I have the Mavs, the Pels, the Grizz, T-Wolves, Clippers, Hawks, Celtics, Nets, Raptors, Cavs. Greg's got the Mavs, the Pels, the Nuggets, T-Wolves, Clips, Suns, Hawks, Heat, Nets, and Cavs. Our play-in teams, I got the Thunder, the Lakers, the Knicks, the Bulls, and the Pistons. Greg, you got the Thunder, the Lakers, the Hornets, the Knicks, the Raptors, Bulls, and Pistons. And then our lottery teams we just think really have no shot. Rockets, Spurs, Blazers, Jazz, Kings, Hornets, Magic, Wiz, and Pacers for me. And Greg's got about the same: Rockets, Spurs, Blazers, Jazz, Kings, Magic, Wiz, and Pacers. So that's it. Yeah, NBA season starts what?
18.
Tuesday. Yeah, so be fun. It's always a fun time. I didn't used to be
Oh yeah.
back when we were in school, I was a bigger college fan than pro game. Still like the pro game, but it was getting courtside tickets a few years ago. Yeah, I was invigorated. Yeah, my wife worked, got it through her job. It was her turn in the office rotation, so we got to sit in the same seats that like Beyonce sits in when she comes to New Orleans. So that was really cool. Front row, courtside. It was right after the Pelicans traded for Boogie Cousins. He's always been
Sweet.
kind of a favorite of mine, and so that was just a fun time. Yeah, but got me reinvigorated. So now I get excited when the NBA season comes around. But yeah, kicks off Tuesday with the Sixers and Celtics and Lakers and Warriors, and
Yeah,
then everybody kind of
till
forgets about it
Christmas, and
until
then
after
Christmas
football
Day
season's
kind of
done.
brings it back up. Yeah.
Yeah, their big Christmas day. Yeah, exactly. All right, that's it for the NBA. We kind of mentioned it earlier, but our Major League Baseball predictions were both wrong and right because we both predicted all chalk, and then we both said that probably means that we're wrong. And sure enough, the Phillies eliminated the Braves in 4. The Padres eliminated the Dodgers in 4.
On the
The
verge.
Yankees play at Cleveland tonight with a chance to lose in 4. Yeah, they're on the verge of losing. The Astros, the only favorite team to win so
Yeah,
far, unless the
that
Yankees
was
can win 2 in a row. So I guess the question then now is the series the Astros to lose, or is it just a toss up with one of these kind of Cinderella runs? What do you think?
You'd have to think right now the Astros are in a good spot, but I guess that's how we play the game. But yeah, I'd definitely say the Astros kind of the front runner at this point, all by themselves.
Yeah, they did their
But
job. They
that
handled
game yesterday went
the
two
upstart
full
Mariners.
games,
They
18
kind of
innings, and won one
yeah.
nothing.
Oh yeah, insane.
Yeah,
1-0, 18.
yeah,
Just a couple of those now in the playoffs this season already. That's kind of crazy. But yeah, their pitching has just been on point, and they still have just such a
clutch.
dangerous lineup. Alvarez is
Walk that,
just
walk that
anytime
man.
he
Why
comes up to
pitch
the
to that
plate,
man?
man, it's just you worry about him hitting one to the moon. Yeah, right. Yeah, he needs Barry Bonds like
Yeah,
2001
don't
or
even think
whatever
about it.
treatment, or like just walk him. Don't even give him anything close. It doesn't
Right,
matter if the bases
exactly.
are loaded. Take the
Especially
one
if it's
run
late in the
over the
game. If it's
four.
six inning or later, don't even
Um,
do it. Don't even do it.
Walk him. Yeah, just walk him. Yeah, it's horrible for baseball,
Exactly.
but there's no limit on intentional
Do it
walks.
anyway.
and even if there were,
Exactly.
just intentionally walk them. Yeah. But yeah, so that should
Oh,
be it. Unless you
one
got
thing
anything
that's
else
been
in the world of
bothering me
sports.
this whole month in the NFL, the
Uh-oh.
hoodies, shirts that they've been wearing, intercept cancer is another way of saying catch cancer. It's been annoying me all week, all month.
Yeah, I haven't noticed that, but yeah, that's that's
Yeah,
weird.
but it's
Did
intercept
you want to
cancer,
like
a way of
sack
saying catch
cancer or
cancer.
something?
But
Oh, yeah,
I
that's
get
weird.
what they're saying, but bad wording.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Maybe take that one back to the drawing board. Yeah, I don't really have anything else.
Nice.
Just once again, Arsenal top of the league.
Yeah.
Lone bright spot in a horrible sports weekend for me. But a lot of fun races.
Nice.
Man City was actually shut out today at Liverpool. Aaron Holland did not score a goal. I guess that's the biggest news of the world. But yeah, other than that, we'll move
Done
on.
up for me
Greg,
real
what has been
good.
done up real good for
Well,
you this week?
I guess just being employee of the well, we do a weekly thing every week there, but I was employee of the week last week in my job, so pretty competitive there. So I thought that was my big thing for the
Uh-oh.
week. Yeah, we
You get like a
get a
sparkle
little gift
belt or
card there,
something,
so that's
gift
always good.
card,
A little
something.
gas money. Yeah,
There you go. Hey, it's nice to be
Big
recognized,
Gino.
right?
He's
Oh,
having a
look
heck
at
of a
Geno
season
Smith
there.
taking off on a long run here. He is, man. Like he said, they call him, but he ain't called back. So let's see. I'll go done up real good for me this week. I'll say my interest in
Yeah,
professional wrestling again. Just WWE under the direction of Triple
yeah.
H now in charge has kind of got me interested in them again. I've been an AEW fan now since they've kind of come out. And
Yeah,
even if they're kind
definitely.
of having weak shows, WWE is picking it up. Of course, the big return,
Yeah, that was
Bray
sweet at
Wyatt this
the
week,
little.
which is just
I
awesome.
think that's what got me into
Um,
wrestling more is just the fact that everything's on
the pay
Peacock for
per
the pay
view,
per
yeah.
views. So, and that really opened it up for me. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of getting back into it. Was big of growing up and in college, and kind of got away from it growing up a little bit. But with the new direction, yeah, Raw. Yeah, I agree with you. Raw is a bit more fun. A lot of younger talent. They're actually bringing folks back that they've gotten rid of in the past there. So that's I think they're going the right direction. So.
Yeah, for sure. It's a fun time again, and like you mentioned, yeah, Peacock. That if you got a Peacock subscription, you automatically have access to all the pay per views, and it's I think like a year's worth of
Yeah,
Peacock cost you
well
like
worth it.
1.5 pay per views.
Even if you're just a
So
part-time
yeah,
fan.
well worth it. Even
Yeah,
if you just get Peacock just
exactly.
to watch The Office or something, you
Yeah,
still catch a pay per
it's good
view or
stuff.
what do they call them? Premium live event. Yeah, so you would hope that AEW, they're owned by Warner Brother Discovery, whatever.
Yeah, you
You
would
hope
think
they'd get
just
something
to
similar soon with like HBO Max or
continue to
something.
get as close in the playing field as they can
Yeah,
to WWE
'cause
there.
at the very least, just for the pay-per-view thing, because right now their pay-per-view setup is rough. If you don't, if you're like me and you're cord cut, and your only way to watch pay-per-view is like that
Yeah, that's
Bleacher
tough.
Report app. It's just horrible. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
real rough, always choppy, never, the connection is always bad. But
nice.
you can hear more wrestling talk on the Alabama Slam podcast, also on the Alabama Take family of podcasts. But thanks everyone for listening. That is it for us. As I mentioned, there are plenty of other great podcasts on the Alabama Take family. And just go to thealabamatake.com for writings and podcasts and everything you could want. You can see mine and Blaine's horrible picks every week. Actually, I'm not sure what I did. I actually might have went 3 or 2-1 yesterday. So I'm not sure.
Yes, sir.
But we'll see, Greg. Have a good one, and we'll see you next week.